Okay, we are here and just figured do something a little bit different. Um, I literally got nothing going on, but figured waste about an hour, maybe two. I don't know, but um, how's it going, everybody? Bit of a hot one tonight in beautiful, beautiful Dartmouth, Mass. Got myself a little gift today. Been saving up for it for a while, but the WWE Undisputed Championship, probably my favorite version of the WWE title, behind the Spinner Belt and probably the Winged Eagle. But figured for this one, why not talk to the wonderful, wonderful YouTubers out there, talk to the public, and do something a little bit different, answer a couple questions. I've already got a couple questions right here. Just go from there, I guess. But World Finals 14, was that 2013? Yeah, I think that was. That World Finals wasn't all that good. 30th anniversary is what it was. I mean, could have been better. It literally could have been I don't know. I wasn't there in 2012 or 2013, so I can't really say that. The one Vegas show I did go to, same year as this shirt, 2014, was the All Doomsday Encore, which was the drizzling shits. There was a truck that didn't go. Let's see. Gary's truck ran. Dennis's truck rolled over, but I think it didn't have that much damage. The truck that brought him out was the remade red and yellow one. Adam was out second in the blue and silver truck. Then Charlie in the grandma version. What else? Pablo was out with the regular digger. I believe Gary Porter ran the regular 30th anniversary design, the non 3D one, because Dennis ran the Chrome 3D green version in freestyle, I believe. Trying to think. Would it have been number 18? Because Rod Schmidt was driving 18 then. Because Paco was out in his digger, Randy was out in his, Pablo was out in his, Porter, unless if that was driven by Ryan, where Ryan got hurt. That explains. Oh yeah, probably. Because I know Carl Van Horn was there, but he was kind of telling people where to go. But yeah, that encore wasn't really that too good, in my opinion. Still think the best encore was probably the very first one. Noah, there's no true Gravedigger 21. That's the event. Well, it used to be called the Events Auto Parts Gravedigger Experience, but I don't even know if they even use that now. Well, I figured for this a little bit. He was on one side. He had to have gone on that one side because why would he be in the middle of the track? Why would Randy Brown be in the middle of the track when they were all lined up to do the container backflip? That would have just put everything off guard. $12 and $14, they're I believe those chassis are scrapped, like they were cut up. Number 7 is still out front of Digger's Dungeon. I've yet to go to the dungeon, but I've heard it's a great place to go to. I've actually a couple times I've gotten close to going there, but I've never heard of that one. Twister Reboot Universal Studios. I don't think anybody's going to be working on anything because a lot more cases of the virus have been going around. So I highly doubt that's going to be happening. I mean, on one side where he was, like... I mean, unless if Gravedigger 14 got cut up after Philadelphia 2010 when the Monster Mutt body was put on that. Chad Tingler drove it at that show, the very first Philadelphia stadium show. Hits one of the buses, breaks a wheel off, or one of the van sacks, I'm not really quite so sure. Breaks a wheel off, rolls over on the end, and Tingler was going to get a new ride that year anyway, so might as well get rid of it. Because at that point, 14 had been around for about 9 years. And usually before what it is now, where it's like after 3 to 4 years, you get a new truck. Back then, it used to be, that's why Gravedigger number 12 ran from late 96 until I think, middle of 2011. Because Monster Jam at that time thought that if old chassis could still go, they could still go. But then it wasn't until Max D, the old Max D number 1, kept breaking. All the PEIs that had been around for about 7-8 years started breaking. Then they went to CRD. Cohen started building chassis. So that's why a lot of the guys nowadays only go about 3 seasons or so with a certain chassis. Then they go to a new one. I mean, there's not really, I don't want to say video or photo proof. I don't want to say video or photo proof of number 14 being scrapped, but it was pretty well obvious after Philadelphia that it was going to be demolished. Because within that whole wreck, it's a lot like Bigfoot 16 in 2012. It did a slap wheelie, landed so hard on one side of the rim, it bent in the whole rim. I think it actually even made a big gaping hole inside the rim, and that whole truck was pretty much destroyed. Where is my Aha! Pretty much that accident. I totally forgot about that because that would have been Actually, how ironic is it that in that encore, number 12 and number 14 were in it, and both of them got retired within a year and a half of one another. But yeah, so in Indianapolis 2012, Larry Swim and Bigfoot went over a jammer stack, rode out a very beautiful wheelie, kicked off on the one side, and it landed straight down on one of the rims, bent in the whole rim, and it actually made a pretty big tear inside the rim. And it literally fucked up the whole chassis. It did a lot of damage to it. But yeah, 2010 was just not a good year for number 14. I mean, to be quite honest, I've seen worse landings. I've seen worse landings. There was one guy, I forget where it was. I think it must have been in Australia or something. He did a backflip, landed so hard on the side, all the shocks came apart. Like the whole truck went from like side to side. It was very freaky. But that was the end of, I believe, the very first War Wizard, which then led to Randy Moore having to, I believe, if memory serves correctly, buy the old Wolverine or Little Tiger truck that Brian Bartle had for sale. He kept that for a couple of races, or at least the whole rest of the year, 2006, before getting his PEI. It couldn't have been Jacksonville of 07 because Jacksonville of 07, he had the PEI. He even mentioned in an interview that it was the third weekend he had that truck. So it had to have been either 06 or something. I know for a fact that Jacksonville of 07, he had the PEI. He even says in an interview, actually, hang on here. Let me find it. Got to go into the archives. Let's see. Jacksonville. I believe I have a clip. 70,000 Monster Jam. Yes, I'm going into my archives. Interviewer pulls in Courtney Jolly so she can see the camera. Next up, Randy Moore and his new War Wizard. Right here.
New truck is really nice. I mean, this is our third weekend on it, and we're extremely happy with it. It's a lot different. It's got a lot more suspension travel. It's got more of a standardized chassis like most people run in the sport, rear engine. So throttle timing and stuff I'm having to get used to, but overall I really like it, and I think the crowd will like it because I can do a lot more things in it.
Never trust Wikipedia. I never look at Monster Trucks Wiki or any bit of anything on Wikipedia because a lot of the shit on there just is not right at all. Like, the only times if I were to ever go on Wikipedia for anything is if either I'm that bored and I research stuff, or sometimes that there might be, a correction that has to be made. Season highlights of USA 1. I have not thought of that. I literally do not know why. That is going on the bucket list. I am not going to pronounce your channel name. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fuck that up. But that is definitely going on the bucket list. Actually, hang on here. Let me remind myself that. Okay. I remember when that Gravedigger 14 first ran. It obviously it was new. Dennis had a lot of issues that year. If you go to, I think, let's see, because in 2001, Houston won, Minneapolis, St. Louis. Those are taped in 2000. Houston 2, I believe Atlanta, Indianapolis, come on, New Orleans, Houston 3, Mini 2, Jacksonville, and I think Pontiac, and then Vegas. But Dennis had tons of issues with it from Houston number 2. I don't think he had any issues with it in Atlanta because he ended up tying Goldberg for the freestyle win that night. Todd Frolic had a lot of issues when he drove at Indianapolis because Dennis was in Houston doing the Wall of Steel stunt. He had a lot of issues with it in New Orleans because he rolled it in introductions. He had a shitty tire setup for that one because that track was extremely tacky with the shaved tires he had. And trying to think what else. I think that might be it. Because in Houston 3 he doubled. Minneapolis he doubled. No, he didn't double in Minneapolis because that was Brian Bartle won racing. That was one of the first events of the Wolverine. Yeah. 14 during its later years, like 2007, 2008, it got red shocks. I believe those were Pablo Huffaker style shocks that Chad usually had. 18, a little bit. I mean, obviously sometimes the cradles can be different. Sometimes the way the guys had their shock set up. Noah, are you kidding me? Anybody knows the difference between 14 and 16. 16 is a Pablo Huffaker style truck, while 14 was a Patrick Enterprise truck. But 14 and 18, they were built from the same chassis company from PEI, if memory serves correctly. I know Randy Brown drove 18 for a couple of seasons, I think, or maybe one or two. And then by 2000, like mid 06, like mid February or maybe early March of 06, that was when Randy switched into 19. That was when Randy and Rod switched rides. Because if you remember at the Georgia Dome show in 06, Rod Schmidt drove Gravedigger 19. And then I know there's photo proof of Randy Brown driving Gravedigger 19, I think like in February or March of 06. I'm not really quite so sure. That is a name I have not seen in God knows how long. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the comment section, Mr. Cam Seward, he used to have me on his, well, it's now called a podcast now, but he used to have me on his show, The Monster Lounge, many years ago. I am talking like at least over a decade ago. So I have not seen that name pop up in God knows how long. Cam, hope you're doing well. Gravedigger 20, probably one of the best Gravedigger trucks. My top 5 favorite truck. If anybody had to tell me my top 5 favorite Gravediggers, number 1 is definitely Gravedigger 12. 2 is 7, 3 20, 4 19, and 5 probably 23, because the way how Carl drove that truck was just way too intense. Its first 2 years was kind of cool, but then by 2013, when it switched to the rear coilovers, like when it had the coil and nitro set up, and then it ran the 2 flags. And besides, that truck was in Massachusetts that year, so got to give that one props. But I've seen Gravedigger 20, how many times? Once. Worcester 2012. Dennis won wheelies, made it to the finals in racing, and flipped about 15 seconds into his run. Didn't even get an encore. Probably 2008. That was when all Gravedigger trucks started getting the flames on the roof. That's a tough one. It depends on. I'm no expert here. I've never driven a monster truck. I've sat in them. But it all depends on how people treat their equipment. If it was, let's say, a Gravedigger truck, for example. If it was anything that was going like any normal Gravedigger run, I'd say 2.5 to 3 years, based upon what type of damage it takes and everything else. But a lot of independent guys they treat their equipment so perfectly, especially during the winter and in the summertime when they go on the road so much, because they need to maintain it. They got to bring it to and from the shop. They got to do that shit. So obviously, it depends. It literally depends on your driving, and it also depends on how well you treat your equipment. It could last from 2 to probably about like 10 years. It also depends on what type of chassis. It also depends on like if it's like a independently owned chassis, if it's something from Patrick, if it's something from Cohen, who knows? I honestly, if I owned Monster Jam, I'd bring mud racing back. No, honestly, there's nothing really to improve. I always say, if it draws a crowd, leave it. Like, in Worcester this year, keep in mind, only 8 monster trucks were there, and Freestyle Motocross was there. You had 4 Freestyle Motocross riders, you had 8 monster trucks. That's the only thing you got. 3 out of the 4 shows were at least 90% full. 90% full with people. The only show that did not do good, obviously, was Friday night. I saw a lot of empty seats, but there's nothing really that needs to be changed with Monster Jam. If I had to guess from a television point of view, I would prefer live to tape. Like, you shoot the thing live with live broadcasting and all that stuff, but you edit it and replay it at a later date, because that's what a lot of the TNN guys used to do back in like 97 and 98, like with Ralph Shaheen and Mike Galloway. That's how they used to do their shows. They used to film it live, announce it live, and then go from there. Obviously from 99 to 2002 with Monster Jam on TNN, I don't believe Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas actually did the commentary live besides the pay-per-views. But the way how they did it was so perfect, because the way how Monster Jam and TNN did their stuff was they made sure that you could hear the audio correctly. They made sure they had the proper techniques to edit the show and everything else. But when it got to Speed, I will admit the very first season of Monster Jam on Speed from 2004, one of my all-time favorite years, did very well. I think by 2005 through 2006, that's when it started going very stale. It kind of picked up in 2008, but, I mean, that's just me. How would I improve it? I mean, I'd love to see some of the old things back. Like, if you're running an arena tour, do different things to the arena tour. Like, triple threat tours, leave the pods, leave everything they got there. For, let's say, like, an arena tour 4, or whatever the fuck. The tour this year that didn't even have a Gravedigger on it, do the old school setup. Like, you don't even need to have crush cars. Just have the bumps, like have the little bumps in there and go from there. You could probably add in, like, let's say maybe like a Quad Wars track or anything like that. It doesn't even have to be the scripted Quad Wars, like legit real racing. That is just me. If I owned Monster Jam, I'd do something like that, but that's just the mark in me. What else we got here? What about... I saw the green 30th anniversary truck live. I never cared for that one. I love the purple, because me and also my wonderful mother, her favorite color is purple. I loved the original 25th anniversary with the regular Gravedigger scheme and then the 25th anniversary banner. Unpopular opinion, I hated the chrome body because it was going to get destroyed. Knowing Dennis Anderson, it was going to get destroyed. But that's just me. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's right. God, Cam, I remember when you used to go to, I believe it was, what was it, New Brunswick or so? That was where Monster Spectacular would have their little concrete show. I believe that's where it was. TNN, I mean, you could go from 1990, to when Monster Trucks first started airing on TNN to the end in 2002. I still think that was probably some of the best years of monster trucking ever. I mean, if it wasn't for the shitty gimmicks of Monster Wars, literally, I can't even watch a full episode of Monster Wars because I just get so cringeworthy of it. I love the racing. I love everything that they did. But the weird thing was it was all fucked up. Because you started the season in West Lebanon. Then you went into an arena. Then you went to a stadium. Like, what? It was just all fucked up. Actually, speaking of which, do I still have that shirt? It's here somewhere. Monster Trucks 2000, I mean, I still enjoyed it. The only reason why I enjoy it is is the commentary on it, and also that was My favorite and still my all-time favorite Bigfoot scheme, Chrome Illusion, the flames, and everything on that truck was so perfect. Either he or Pablo. I still say to this day, if Dennis did not crash, he would have definitely won it. But if Pablo didn't get shut off right away after getting stuck on the flatbed and then going onto the RV, he definitely would have won it. The only reason why Tom won it is because he went over where Lyle Hancock tried doing it, the middle jump with the van, the bus and the van. Lyle Hancock tried going over it the other way, and he flipped over. What Mentz did was he went over it, and then he started launching it in every which way and direction at the very end, then went sideways over one of the big bus stacks. I think that's what made him win. But you go back to those times, Tom was just nothing but unstoppable. Like, you go back to 2000 through 2002, nothing stopped Tom Mentz. He could have bad luck, but you could not stop him at Vegas. It wasn't until 2003 when he did finally get stopped, because it took him 7 years to win another racing title, but he still won freestyle. And obviously, one of my favorite runs that he did when he won the freestyle title would definitely be 2006, because that was where he jumped over Neil Elliott and then put on a fucking barn burner freestyle. Favorite Bigfoot and Gravedigger moment? St. Paul, where Dennis beat Bigfoot for the first time in 1988, I think. Or, God. I know there's a lot of great Bigfoot and Gravedigger memories, but they never really raced a lot on TNN. I'd say probably that one, because, I mean, if you think about it, you think of Gravedigger and Bigfoot, you don't think of a lot of moments. Well, Minneapolis 91, that's probably one of my favorites. I believe Andy Brass got a red light on that one. You see, I wouldn't count 2003. I mean, yeah, you got the results and all that stuff, but, like, where is the footage? Or at least, where are the photos? The only thing we know from 2003 is either from Houston, Orlando, and Atlanta. That's the only thing we know from 2003 with Tom Mentz. That's just me. I'd love to see more 2003 footage. But unfortunately, even with the people I got, I don't have anything from 03. And there's no point of buying like one show from 2003, which is the World Finals. World Finals, number 11. That final round race. Funny story here. I would have been a freshman in high school. This is March of 2010. I was a freshman in high school, and I had just recently moved into, well, me and my family just recently moved into an apartment, and we had just gotten ourselves a new computer. This would have been around the time where I had just found out about live chats, live communications, whatever. I remember watching, like, at the seat of my pants, just hearing that Mentz and Anderson were in the final round. And I'm like, God, I don't know who's going to win this. But I have always been a Gravedigger fan. Like, a lot of the stuff around me that you can't see, I wish you could, is a lot of Gravedigger stuff. I have a Gravedigger box right here. I actually have, I show this a lot, but a lot of people tune in. Gravedigger flag hanging above me. Thank you, Gravedigger crew. But yeah, best Mentz and Anderson race. If I had to count another one, probably World Finals 3, the semifinal race between them. What do I think about the encore? it's what started what we got today at the finals, the encores. I love the first one. I always say the first one has a special place in my heart because that was live. And God, if I could go back in time and realize what I know now, because I remember I would have been 6 years old when that encore took place, and I remember hearing throughout the broadcast four gravedigger trucks, and I kept thinking there were four gravediggers in the actual competition. But I mean, that encore was good. It's such a shame a lot of the trucks lasted like barely 20 seconds because number 7 comes out, does a sky wheelie, goes over pyramid, rolls it over. Number 12 comes out, hits a pile of cars, goes down the racing lane, comes back around, goes up on top of the trailer. Goldberg fires up. Goldberg does a complete 180, hits another gravedigger truck, rolls over. But I did not like that encore. I'm sorry. Once when they started doing the encores where everybody had to fucking hit everybody, I'm sorry. That's just fucking stupid. Like, then again, I went to probably the second or third worst encore, All Doomsday on the freestyle show. Then the next year they had the fucking zombie encore. World Finals 20. Some thoughts. I got offered to go. Like a bunch of times, but I couldn't get the time off from work. I probably would have liked it if they didn't do all the weird gimmick shit. Like, how do I say this without being an asshole? I thought the two-wheel skills championship, not necessary. The Big Air Challenge, not necessary. Speedster and ATVs, not necessary. I think with the World Finals, it should be the usual double down racing one night and then freestyle the next. That's just me. That's just the old school in me. That's what I think. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It's done and over with now. World Finals 11 encore, didn't like it. I mean, it was already fucked up from the get-go when Adam came out and Gravedigger 12 did a very shitty donut, launches it like 30 feet in the air, does a wheelie, and breaks a wheel off and then flips over. Then, not to mention, it ruins the whole entire plans. Dennis Anderson nearly destroyed 19. Hey, I love Matt Cody. You know, it's funny. I've yet to see him ever since he won. Hopefully he's doing okay.
Let's see if we can get more people in here.
Just checking out some quick little text here. Like I said, I still think that the ATV championship was a waste. There was just no point of it. The wheelie and the big air and the two wheels, there was no point. Like, yeah, it's cool to see it in arenas and all that stuff, but if you have a competition where it's like, oh, the top 16 trucks on two wheels are going to do their best moves on two wheels, and then you take those 16 trucks, you bring it down, or it might have been 8 trucks, I'm not quite so sure, you bring it down in half, and then they have to do it again. And everybody's doing all these nose poppers and fucking sidewalls. They're doing them for like a minute to 2 minutes straight. You could honestly get up from your seat, go to the bathroom, or go get something from the concession stand, and you walk back down. They're still doing it. You know, I got a lot of friends in the business. I do. I hate to, you know, I like seeing them, but if they're just going to be staying stuck there for a certain number of time, I don't know. I do love wheelies, though. I've always been a fan of wheelies. I love slap wheelies. I still think to this day, the next slap wheelie that happens is better than the last one, because I always think that a slap wheelie in a monster truck is probably one of the greatest things to have ever happened. World Finals in 1999. World Finals in 99, one of my favorites. Probably got the best lineup I've seen. Digger, Menson Bulldozer, Avenger, Executioner, Samson, Monster Patrol, Carolina Crusher, Avenger, King Crunch, Mountaineer, Reptoid, Gunslinger, Bustin' Loose. That's 13. Come on. I know they're there. Equalizer, Cyborg, and there's one more. Come on. Barefoot. I just named all 16 trucks from the 1999 World Finals. And I can't even tell you for the life of me who competed on certain stadium tours this year. Oh, God damn it, I just dropped my Grave Digger. 99 was probably, a lot of people say, the last good season that Pace ever had before they did the WCW shit. But then again, who drove barefoot for what in 99 in St. Louis? If it was 99 in St. Louis, it was Brian Womack. But if you're talking about throughout the whole 1999 season, it would have been Todd Frolic or Mike Dropic. That wreck in New Orleans 99 is what made me become a fan today. Not kidding. I always sit back and I say to myself, that very moment is what made me become the huge mega fan that I am today. The WCW thing was okay, but the NWO thing was just stupid. It brought in a great truck in Goldberg and Sting. Nitro, but Nitro sucks so bad. By the way, Savage, you were talking about chassis. Gravedigger 3 was beat the holy hell out of by Dennis and fucking Lyle Hancock. So, oh yeah, Medusa. How can I forget about her? Tom was just unstoppable in 2000. Like, you go back to 2000 and you watch Tom Meents back then, no one could touch him. Staged or not, no one could touch Tom. That was also during the time Dennis got hurt when he drove number 7, so he constantly had to bring drivers in and out of the truck. That was the next week, I believe, or 2 weeks after. Houston number 2 in 99. I loved it. I mean, That was the debut show of the Checkered Flag. So anything Dennis said in 99, I was a fan of. Just something new, I guess. I mean, if I had to guess why, wanted to become more involved with Pace back then, because Tom, since 1994 and 95, he owned that chassis of Monster Patrol. He didn't own the Monster Patrol truck. He just owned the chassis that ran that. He just ran the chassis. He owned the chassis that ran that Monster Patrol name. And then in 99, he went to Bulldozer. And then a lot of people don't know that chassis lasted at least until 2007 or so. Again, Savage, I've told you before about the chassis abuse. That chassis was around in 1991 as Taurus. So you give it to Paul Schaefer in 93, who didn't really do a whole lot with it. Then you give it to Tom Menson, 94 and 95, till 99. He beat the ever-loving fuck out of that thing. And then you go from 2000 with Rob Nell and Chuck Warner. Add more to it. There you go. By the way, the moment that made me a Gravedigger fan, here it is.
When you go to Pace Motorsports event, is Digger comes on over just to finish third. Look out, he's on his lid. Oh, wow. The crowd is roaring.
Just in case if no one believes me about how much shit I got on here, this is all of my 99 season. Holy shit. I have not seen that name in ages. Jet Monkey. Oh my God. I've forgotten your real name, pal, but oh my God. Mark Alert here used to love his videos, his Stuntman videos back then, which was what made me play Stuntman back then. So, glad to see you're still involved in this shit. And God, if memory serves, he made some of the best replica trucks on Monster Truck Madness 2. If memory serves, I hope it's the same guy. Because I know Scott Razorberg or whatever the fuck his name was used to make some trucks too. Do you happen to have the full race where they ran 3 or 4 trucks at once? Which one would that have been? Would that have been US Off-Road in 98, where Bigfoot, Barefoot, Snakebite, and Gravedigger ran a race? Or are you talking about Dallas 1990? And actually, for the people who don't believe me, Monster Truck Madness 2 tracks, or, well, trucks. Most I remember from is, I don't think 2 trucks rolled over. I know 1 truck hit Clydesdale, and Clydesdale rolled over, but I don't think 2 trucks ever flipped at that one. I do know in Toronto at a USA Motorsports show in 1992, Carolina Crusher and Bigfoot rolled over at the same time. Jet, if you're still watching this, I'm about to give you the biggest plug ever. Oh, wait, nope, wrong one. Come on. Nope, not that one. God damn it, it's hard to do this on a phone. Of course, it doesn't want to load. All right, well, do you think would have won? I mean, if freestyle counted back then, definitely. I mean, there's not a whole lot of footage of people who freestyled back then. I mean, a lot of people don't know. Back in those days with Pace Motorsports, only the final two trucks, like, here's how it used to go. If you finished, like, if you got knocked out of the first or second round, before the final round, those trucks that got knocked out would go out for freestyle. And then they would run the championship race, and then those final two did the freestyle, and then that would be the end of the show. That's how it used to work in those days. I'm pretty sure they filmed a lot of that stuff, but the only things they would show would be after the championship race. So, no, I don't think No Problem rolled at that one. Excuse me. Didn't No Problem roll at an arena show? Because I know he faced off against Mopar Magic. By the way, if anybody ever gets Monster Truck Madness 2, feel free to look up Jet Design. Jet, that's a shout out to you. Some of his best trucks out there. Gravedigger 20th anniversary. He's got plenty more. Monster Patrol, Tom Mentz. Gravedigger from 99. Actually, here's a Digger from 99. The only thing you're missing is the checkered flag. That has to be the Crash. I mean, I can't think of any other one. And one more here. Jet's Monster Patrol. By the way, yes, I do have an iPhone. Apple is the way to go. Fuck Android, fuck Samsung, fuck every single one of those phones. Get an iPhone. Oh my god, I gotta get MTM2 again. I mean, once when Rigs of Rods and actually, I'm about to drop a name that I'm pretty sure no one here remembers. Insane. 1NSANE. That used to be a racing game that me and a couple of other friends played. I don't know if he's on YouTube, but Nick King and Theodore McDowell, we would always run certain events, and there's this one kid, I forget what his name is, but I remember his YouTube name correctly, Monster Jam Kid 2. We would always play those events on that game. It was so fun. You could get Monster Truck Madness 2 on Windows 10. I don't think you need a CD. I mean, literally, in this day and age, you don't even need a CD to play any game at all. You just have to download the game and then go from there. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's something on a website that mentions about it. I feel bad for Hunter. What's his question? I mean, there's a lot of stories to that. There's a lot of stories about Bigfoot and Monster Jam. I don't want to say I've been told a lot of stories. I have, but I don't know. Maybe once when, like, a more modern time where stories come out in the public, I'm pretty sure we'll be told, but I don't know. I've been told different things by different people. How in the... You got to know the right people for the footage. I mean, I'm not even... I know a lot of people are going to get pissed off at me for this one, but... That's a list of all the shows I've gotten. Some extra ones on here too. You just got to know the right people. Sometimes I have my own stuff too that I've kept over the years. A lot of it's DVR footage, but you know, you get to know the right people. They send you they send you shit. You give them money. It's the only thing I can tell you. You just got to know the right people. I mean, you could say that for the Hall brothers, but they run BKTs, and yet they've had a deal for Michelinian tires, I think it is, or I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, but that's just my thing. By the way, I got to plug Sunny D. Good shit. MTM2 and Rigs of Rods is kind of like comparing a 1990s Apple to a 2020 Orange. Back in the day, Monster Truck Madness was super fun. That's how a lot of the Monster Truck community got together back in the day, was playing Monster Truck Madness 2. I mean, a lot of current Monster Truck drivers used to play MTM2. Bill Payne used to play it. I believe Cody Saucier used to play it. I mean, I played it later on when it fell out of popularity. But Rigs of Rods is a simulation, whatever you want to call it. So it features more real life simulation into it. Meanwhile, MTM2, if you let me describe it this way. If you were on your two wheels in MTM2, you're either staying like this before it drops down, or you're flat out just going over. In Rigs of Rods, you have the chance to drive out of the two wheels, a wheelie, for example. Back in the day with Rigs of Rods, I'm going to hold up my keyboard here. Back in the day with Rigs of Rods, if I can get this up here. This used to be your gas, and this used to be your brake. You had to hold the brake down when you were going over a bump, or if you were about to do a sky wheelie, you had to hold the brake down just to get a wheelie going. But if you wanted to keep that wheelie riding out, you had to keep holding the brake button down. You couldn't do donuts in MTM2. I mean, unless if your suspension was completely soft, and if your, I believe the chassis was loose or whatever, your chassis could be twisting to the side. But that's pretty much Monster Truck Madness 2. It wasn't... Keep in mind, that game came out in 1998, so it's not like anything that we have today. But that's pretty much the best description I can come up with. Take a good 1990s Apple and then compare it to a 2020 Orange. What else you got here? You could still download Monster Truck Madness 2. Just type in Monster Truck Madness 2, and I'm pretty sure there's a website. But that's pretty much how it was. You know, I really wish I could have done one online competition. I never got the chance to. I've done plenty of online play. I never did one competition. There's no way I would have lasted though, because like I don't have Monster Truck Madness 2 on my computer. I have 3 computers. I have one on this side and I have one down here. I don't have MTM2. Actually, Jet, you are going to remember this. I hope you do. Who remembers Monster Freestyle Racing? MFR. MFR was kind of the, let's just say, second cousin to the to Monster Truck Madness 2. It featured a different style of physics. Everybody thought that MFR was going to be one of the greatest things ever. I had our MFR. It was kind of like downloading stuff for MTM2, except sometimes tracks wouldn't work on MFR if they worked on MTM2. Like, I remember I used to go on the Raceway Park track all the time on MTM2. You could go over the cars on MTM2, but on MFR, you literally had to fly over the cars, because if you went in the middle, you would get sunk down into the middle of the cars. You could slap wheelie very easily on MFR. The only thing that was horrible, you were stuck on this one camera angle. So, like, if you had the truck like this, you had to turn the camera around a certain number of degrees just to get it. And if you went over a jump, it would be kind of like this. Be like a leaf spring on steroids. Oh my God, Monster Truck Mania TV. God, I hated that. I fucking hated MTM TV. Don't get me wrong, it was a great idea, but I look back at it now, 10 years later. YouTubers could not do that. I think we kind of started the tradition of the full shows, because now everybody's doing it. What is my favorite show I've been to? God, I got plenty. But if I had to come up with one at the top of my head, probably Providence of 2008. First year that Providence had 8 trucks that I saw. Adam Anderson and Taz. Excuse me. Adam Anderson and Taz, Air Force Afterburner, Damon Bradshaw, Trey Myers and Iron Warrior, Black Stallion, Mike Viders, Randy Brown and Gravedigger, Nathan Wink and El Toro Loco, Chris Bergeron and Brutus, and Jim Kohler and Avenger. Still one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. You know, as I look back on it, there was one game I never had the chance to play. I forget what it was called. Let me look it up. Jet, you might know this. Let me actually look this up here. Nope, Thunder Truck Rally was a PlayStation 1 game. It was a nope, it wasn't Monster Jam Destruction. It was a computer game. Where is it? I remember the truck. Like, you could pull power wheelies off the line, but you could not go over any car. Like, anytime when you go over a car, normally you go like this. This one, it would be like all fucking like buggy and shit. It was based off of a computer racing game, and I think you had to download the Monster Truck mod. The Dodge grill on the box art. Wasn't on Miniclip. No, it wasn't any of those types of games. It was a game where you literally had to put it in your computer. Trying to look it up right now. Favorite indie show, Bloomsburg 2013. First year I ever went to Bloomsburg, and it just felt so cool. God damn it, I feel like I'm pissing you guys off. Like, I hate it when this happens. God damn it. What game is it? Scheme of the Truck Render. I don't think that was it. No. Unfortunately, Gordon, I'm not going to be uploading it to YouTube. I have pretty much a lot of stuff from 2010, but it's not going to be uploaded to YouTube. Nope, I remember Monster Truck Rumble, but it didn't have anything to do with Monster Trucks. It was a lot like iRacing. That I do remember. It was a lot like iRacing, except that with this one, you could go to a certain website, you could download the truck, and it had a short wheelbase. The truck was orange. It had the coilover shocks on it. God damn, what the fuck is the name of that game? And you know what the sad thing is? I'm trying to look it up here, and literally everything now is just like everything now is just all regular Monster Jam stuff. Let me actually try this. My liked videos. Maybe it might be on here. It wasn't a 90s game. Good God, I feel like a legit idiot now. It wasn't anything to do with it wasn't legit just about monster trucks. It was all I remember. It was a lot like iRacing. You had sprint cars on it. I believe you had trophy trucks on it, but you could download monster trucks. I just forget the name of the game. God, I'm looking at all these names on here. Josh Rhodes. I remember he used to do a lot of MTM2 stuff. Nope, it wasn't Beam. Yeah, Monster. Yeah, let me try that again. MX's ATV was still one of my all-time favorite video games. I think I still have my copy somewhere. I'm just gonna look through my liked videos. If I find it in here, then I'll say something about it. But if not, then no big deal. It's not the end of the world if I can't find it. I don't think it was Fuel. I don't think it was Fuel. Jesus Christ, how many videos have I liked? I don't even like any videos now. I don't think it was Four Wheel Thunder. They did film it. They did film it, though. Will it ever be released? I don't know. Because they not only filmed Prowler's crash into the dumpster or the container. Oh, God. Shit. Excuse me. But they also... Nope, it's not Rigs of Rods. I don't think it's Motorstorm. Let me see. Insane. I think I'm getting towards the end. Don't worry, guys. I promise. Like, once when once when I'm done looking at this, I know I'm near the end. All right. For anybody who's just recently joined, I was talking with Jet Monkey J, and there's this one, like we were talking about old video games. There was this one game that I do remember from like 2008, 2009. I forget what the name of the game was called, but it was a lot like iRacing, where you had to join the game and then you could download certain things. One of them was a monster truck, and I believe that same game did a reactment to Blacksmith's World Finals 2 crash. I tried looking up that first. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything. So I'm just looking through my liked videos right now on my YouTube page, and if I can find it, I think we'll be good, because right now I'm currently stuck in 2011. All right. Let me try this. Let me just keep going down. Now, I found a lot of wait a minute, I think I found it. I think I found it. I think I found it. Please tell me this is it. Yes! R Factor. R Factor. That was the name of the game. I remember so badly wanting to play that. Literally. Oh my God. R Factor was one of the games that I remember wanting to play so bad because, like, anything I could find with monster trucks from back in those days. But yeah, search is over. We found what we were looking for. No, I just dropped my cup. It's been a long night. R Factor was around 2007 through 2008, I think. Roughly around there. Oh no, I'm actually seeing videos as far back as 4 years ago, so I guess it's still good today. I don't know. I mean, here's what it used to look like. See, like, you cannot go over the cars. It was so fucking stupid. See, short wheelbase and everything else, like, looks like a leafer on steroids. If it's still available, God, I'm pretty sure, but that I don't know. I remember I signed up for something, but that was back in like 2010, maybe 2011. Oh God, don't even get me started on Roblox. I remember playing that years ago. No offense to anybody who plays Roblox now, but I stopped playing after all the random let me try again. Roblox nerds started playing nonstop, and I could never go on a track by myself, so I just stopped playing altogether. I didn't even know there was a second one. I'd have to go ahead and take a look at that. That's better. Yeah, I'm balding. I don't fucking care. 24 years old and I'm losing my hair. Everybody's got their opinion on it. Steel Titans, it's definitely an improvement since Path of Destruction. I mean, I have it. Just do not update your vehicle. Do not update your vehicle to the full bars it can go up to, because you'll be doing nothing but backflips. You'll literally be doing nothing but backflips. Steel Titans wasn't all that bad. I mean, it had its ups and downs, but that's just me. I wouldn't even count Battlegrounds as like a legit game. it was just nothing more than a mobile game. Well, I don't know. The mobile game was just way too fucking awful. Like, Monster Truck Championship, I have high hopes for, but it's the one thing that you do when a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but how can you make something legitimate out of an entertainment type sport? That's the one thing that will always get to people. Monster trucks are very much the entertainment aspect of the motorsports because, yeah, we the fans treat it seriously, but can people who run television industries, people who run television networks and all stuff, can they treat it seriously? That's why most of the time it's just nothing more than shitty broadcasts because that's what monster trucks are. I like Monster Truck Destruction. The only thing I didn't like was their weird tracks. Like, you had all those great licensed trucks like Bigfoot, Snakebite, Stinger, and a bunch of others, but you're putting them on probably a roller coaster, a real-life roller coaster track, and I think that that's just stupid. What else you got here? Didn't hear about that. I mean, I don't know if he's watching this, but I'm not going to name drop him, but a guy who I worked with at Providence this year, he was doing club, and he said that he had some connections or so with whatever the fucking company it is that makes Steel Titans. And he said there's going to be newer things, and honestly, whenever someone tells you something, I don't believe it unless if I actually see it. So unless if I were to see a post or anything like that from a reliable source, so be it. But that's just me. Speaking of NASCAR, they backed themselves into a corner. I feel bad for them. What else we got here? No, I saw the photo, but like, I don't know. A lot of people can make graphic designs in a video game. Like that's why a lot of people, they can get certain things. Like if I had a disc copy, this is how a lot of people in Rigs of Rods got, at least from what I can tell. This is how the Rigs of Rods people got some of their chassis and their trucks when they first started doing the Sim Monsters packs. You used to put in the hard copy disc into your computer, and then you would go into the files. What I believe, that's how they probably got Jurassic Attack on Steel Titans. That's just me. I don't know for sure. But Penda series, loved him. I loved him to death. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's real life pro stock racing on dirt. They're not going as fast as Top Fuel and Funny Cars, but they're going really quick. What do you expect? CRD is the head manufacturing chassis for Monster Jam. But Penda Point series, still to this day, I love them to death. I never get tired of them. I've seen every race two in front at least maybe like a million times, and I still get really excited whenever I see it. I feel like a kid again. I love the National Mud Racing Organization races that they used to do, because that's how mud racing should be. Promoted like that on a real slick, muddy course. What more can you go for? That was back when TNN was at its true peak with motorsports. They had pretty much everything at that time. The only thing I really wish they did, live Pen to Point Series racing. But once again, you can't treat monster trucking seriously, because how can you sell monster trucks to a major television distribution? Oh, I remember Christy. Christy was cool. She didn't last all that long, though. Hunter, I don't know if you have an Xbox One, but feel free to look up some of my tracks. I got a lot of USA Motorsports tracks, USHRA tracks. Action tracks, are you talking about on TMB TV? I'm not a part of TMB TV, so I can't really help you out with that one. Oh, my series. Well, in 2018, I tried to do something different with my channel, and everybody remembers the Motor Hour thing. I wanted to do something different. Nick is probably gonna kill me for this, but Nick Davis of Back Channel Productions, love the guy to death. Nick, if you're watching this, how you doing? But he was one of the reasons why I tried doing something like that, and it just didn't work. I remember the last event I did, I shot that one photography-wise, and I just said to myself, I got to keep doing this, because video stuff is fun, but I'd much rather take great pictures. What happened to Pen to Point Series? The special events promotion company from 1991 till 1996, they had a special sponsorship deal with Penda Bedliners, hence why they had the name Pen to Point Series. That lasted until 1996, and they just dropped the name. They're still going on with the Jamborees. It's still the four-wheel Jamborees. It's just no longer called the Pen to Point Series. Favorite TV broadcast from the past? Anything from 99 to 2002. I literally think that anything that TNN did was just so good. I still think probably one of my all-time favorite broadcasts of all time would probably be St. Louis 1999. Because just you had those 16 trucks. The first week was just round one, and then the second week was rounds 2, 3, was rounds 2, the semifinals, and the final round. Do I work for Monster Jam? No, I don't. I wish. I'd be lying to you if I said I never wanted to work for Monster Jam, but this 24-year-old kid has a dream, and that dream is to work for Monster Jam. Hence why you don't see a lot of my broadcasts. Honestly, if the production that Monster Jam did this year at some of their shows, I still think the introduction that I saw at Worcester and Providence, just like the editing, the close-ups of the truck, the music was so fucking cool. I love the power intros to where you had two trucks come out and then you had everybody else come out. I love that. I have not had goosebumps when I started watching intros in God knows how long. Favorite World Finals? World Finals 3. Last World Finals live. Probably from top to bottom, a great World Finals that will never be topped. But if I had to choose a close second, World Finals 9. That was just one of my all-time favorite World Finals. And I went to World Finals 15 in 2014. It was okay, but didn't live up to any hype that 2002 offered. Yeah, I got a thing here. Come on, go away. There we go. How do I get what footage of all the shows? Like I mentioned before, you got to know the right people. That's pretty much all I can say. You get to know the right people. You get to talk with them, work out a couple of things, and go from there. 5 favorite monster trucks. Does it have to be Monster Jam, or can it be of all time? And also, is it past? Is it past and present, or is it just present? Because I have two lists. (2008, 2009). Okay. Top 5 drivers, not in any complete order. Dennis Anderson, Tom Meents, Adam Anderson, Jimmy Cretin. Did I say Adam already? Because if not, that's 4. And probably Jim Kohler. To the trucks, Gravedigger 20, Gravedigger 19, Maximum Destruction, Taz, and probably Air Force. Let's see. Sad thing was, though, in 02 wasn't even called Motor Madness then. It was just Monster Jam. The Motor Madness name dropped after 2000. Turning the power on, I remember that. I used to have all those videos, and actually, for anybody that's ever lived in the wonderful, wonderful home state of mine, Massachusetts, there used to be a sports network called NESN, New England Sports Network, NESN, and they used to air Turning the Power On. They used to air all that stuff. Such a shame they don't do that now. What else you got? Larry, you kind of aren't missing much, though, from 2013 to 2015. That's kind of when it all started going down. I mean, a lot of people usually give me shit because I always say I still like Monster Jam based upon what they're doing. And I'm not saying that because I want a job with them, but I'm just saying that if that were to, I don't know. Wait, what's this? What if Bigfoot was a Monster Jam? That's a tough one. I mean, if they were from 99 till at least 2009 or so, where you could run whatever type of equipment you had, you could be okay. But then when everybody started going from different tires and different packages for their trucks and all that stuff, then they probably might have stayed. I don't know. Probably Bulldozer or Goldberg. That's how I became a big fan of Tom. Was there any truck you were excited to see at any show? If I had to guess, my all-time favorite truck, besides Snakebite and Gravedigger, would have to be the Executioner. Do not ask why. Executioner was one of my all-time favorite trucks when I was a kid. I wish I would have seen that one live. I've seen the Hall Brothers plenty of times live, but I've never seen Executioner. I wish I could have seen that truck. No. Dennis, by 2014, 2015, he was already starting to wear off. I was actually kind of surprised by 2004 through 2007 that he managed to make the final round 4 consecutive years, 2 of them in 19 and 2 of them in 20. When did I start watching? I've actually known about Team Scream even before Speed. I remember watching Avenger on TNN. So I got to know Jim Kohler. Actually, guys, if you give me just 1 minute, I will be right back. Just gotta make a quick trip to the bathroom. Okay. Monster Vet, I remember that one. Did you get to know... I've met Steve Kohler a couple of times. Very cool guy. Chris Bergeron, I met him 3 times, I think. I've never met Hilgendorf, but I've met his daughter, Lindsay. Nice lady. Favorite Executioner scheme? Probably the first one, the black and white one. That was the one I grew up on. I love the red one, but nothing tops black and white. Yeah, I remember reading about that, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I never really, everybody's been doing their podcast and everything lately about, everybody's been doing podcasts with all types of drivers. I've yet to watch one. I barely even when I was helping my buddy Brad out with his podcast, I never listened to any of the episodes. I got to get back into that, though. I got all this equipment here. I got a microphone right here. Got myself some new Bluetooth headsets here. I gotta use this somehow. Excuse me. I don't think Tom hasn't spiked a helmet in God knows how long. He doesn't even do the arm out the window anymore. I mean, he's up there in age now, but I've never seen him spike a helmet. I mean, it was either last year or the year before. He actually stopped using the motocross helmets and went to a regular full face helmet. Yep, I remember Chad and Superman. Favorite scheme of Avenger? World Final scheme? Probably the Rusty one from 2016 or the black and white one from 2010. But all time? Probably when he went to the lime green in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. Excuse me. J-hook or St. Louis style. I like to have jumps on the side because, like you have the roller, then you have the double, turn around, go over the jump. Probably one of my favorites. I love St. Louis, especially St. Louis 99. You had the one jump, you had the car stack, you turned around, over the roller, double, back around, roller, jump. I love the modern St. Louis that they got now, where it's you just go over the jump, turn around, go straight, and then turn around again. But I've always liked anything that's a challenge. But my favorite track design I've seen live, this is going to sound confusing, but I'll actually play a video once when I get it. But in Bloomsburg, they had two rollers, like two big tabletop rollers. And then on the side, they had jumps that were kind of L-shaped. So you had one jump that had like a little bit of a down ramp, but you also had another jump on the side of it that launched. This is how the track went. You went on the opposite sides of those two tabletops. You went over them, went around, went diagonally down to where those L-shaped jumps were. You go over the side of it. So where the side ramps were, you go down again, go Anaheim style crossways, turn around again, go over the tabletop, and then you go over the jump. Confusing, but I'll show you the video of it. I actually shot that show. Start on the tabletop. You work your way around. Go over another little jump. See, then you go over the sides. And then towards the finish line. Do I remember? Very fun story. I've never seen. I did not see Atlanta live in 2010. I was in the process of moving. I didn't even know what happened until later on. But yep, I remember Iron Man. Favorite dog truck, Big Dog. Probably either Big Dog or Monster Mutt. Brutus is good. Spike is good. But nothing beats Monster Mutt. All right, so getting close to 11 here. I'll probably answer a couple more questions. Then we'll probably call it a night. I didn't even know I was almost going 2 hours. Holy shit. Larry, actually, that sudden impact scheme ran for at least a good 3 years or so. I know it changed in 2002. What is your favorite paint scheme of Medusa? The original red, white, and blue. Not the one from 2004, but the one from 2000 to 2003. I love that scheme. Favorite bulldozer? Actually, to correct you, the El Toro Loco truck ran the chrome wheel covers. I don't think Tom ever ran it with the chrome wheel covers, but probably the first one when Guy Wood drove it. Then Tom. Actually, a little bit of a fun fact. Bulldozer is my mom's favorite truck. She still thinks it exists today. She doesn't like El Toro Loco, but she loves Bulldozer. Airman Dan Evans, last I heard, he works for Monster Jam for international. Like, he does a lot of the international stuff. But, Destroyer, last I heard, Destroyer was sold to Roger Steidel, formerly of Captain USA, but I don't know if he still has it. What is my favorite show that Blue Thunder and Lindsay Wink was in? I've never seen Lindsay drive Blue Thunder. I did see him drive Crusader, but if I had to guess, my favorite show was Lindsay Wink driving Blue Thunder. Probably Orlando 2009 or Detroit 2009. He did a very good job at that one. Is Guy Wood's Bulldozer? No. Guy Wood's Bulldozer from 97 was originally a Tim Hesmer truck, I believe. It had a different style. So you see on here where the four links are here in the front? The four links would actually be in the front here. They would be kind of facing down this way. So if you ever notice that anything with Bulldozer, it looks like it didn't have any front four links, they were actually in the front of the truck instead of on the side where the cradle was. But no, Guy Wood's original Bulldozer was a different style of chassis, and then he went to his own rear engine truck in 2001. Larry, yes, you are correct. NWO and Bulldozer were the same truck. They ran the same year, 2000. Probably the Mercury. The 3D design is okay, but the Mercury probably because it has a good spot in my heart, and I've always been a car junkie. So I'd say that. I mean, everybody has their own thing. So, but anybody else got any final questions? I am not going to pronounce your name, but I'm going to give him a try. Alzarath? Thank you, man. Have a good night. Lyle, yeah, he was good. I know he did some shows with Sudden Impact in like 2006, 2007, but I don't think any of it was with Monster Jam. Yep, Guy Wood's Bulldozer is actually still around. It's actually the Enforcer truck now out west. It was originally Tropical Thunder, but then it went to the Enforcer truck. Randy Brown, he didn't really do all that well in Indianapolis. He came out of the box, did a cross-thread, got crossed up on a bus, and then rolled over. Randy didn't really have that much success in 2010 than he did in 2008. Same with 09. He didn't really have that much success. I'm on something here. Thank you, Jet. Hopefully you're keeping up the good work with Monster Truck Madness. You need to start bringing some of that work into Rigs of Rods, honestly. I can't keep going to I can't keep going to Rock God for I can't keep going to Rock God 88 for all this Gravedigger stuff. I know John, Digger fan, is trying to do some different stuff, but I haven't heard how he's doing. Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man from 2001. I mean, the one from 2010 was good, but Spider-Man is probably my favorite superhero truck. I never cared for Batman. I never cared for Batman. I thought Batman was okay. But Wolverine, I loved Wolverine. Was the NWO can't? I guess it was just something different that they wanted to move on to. Because at least if memory serves, I don't think Rob Nell drove at all in 2001. He did some stuff in December of 2000, but I don't believe he did anything after I don't believe he did anything after 2000. Because I know by 2001, Eldon Depew came back after he retired. Because he drove a second Goldberg truck. This was before Neil Elliott came along. All right. Well, folks, I really do appreciate everybody spending their time with me tonight. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing these more often. Just, random bullshitting. I'm really enjoying these. It's good to talk with the folks. It's good to see some new names and some old names like Jet, Larry, Gordon, Hunter. It's good to see you guys, commenting along here. I'm really hoping my friend Cam comes in here. Not Cam Seward, my buddy Cam Unstable Nerd. He usually does a lot of these. But anyway, guys, I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all the questions and everything else. That will wrap this up for tonight. I really hope everybody's staying safe out there in this cruel situation we're all in right now. But I want to say thank you again to everybody. Jet, keep up the good work on Monster Truck Madness 2. Everybody else, stay safe. Have a good night.